Have you ever stopped to think about the fans behind a band? What is it about the music that keeps fans coming back for more? Or is there more? My name is Renee Lipsmeyer, and I am the host of this podcast, The Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, a fellow DMB fan joins the show to discuss their journey with the band. Welcome to the Space Between Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about all things fan related behind Dave Matthews Band. If you are just now listening to this podcast for the very first time, well, hold on. This one's going to be a little different. We're still going to talk with a fan of Dave Matthews Band, and he's still going to share his story. But this one is a little different. Hold on, guys. So just a couple days, it seems like ago, the band visited the coveted Guilford, New Hampshire. That is one that I've always heard about. It's a 2-night show. It's during the week. And they always get a really good, we say that about every show. Every show is a really good show, but I don't know, for whatever reason, it feels like bragging rights to go to these places. So if you don't know what the couch tour is, I'm going to kind of describe, if you've never heard those words, I'm going to describe to you what couch tour is, and then we're going to talk about those New Hampshire shows here in just a moment. So the Couch Tour is a group on Facebook ran by fans that gives anyone that is a member of that group the ability to almost watch every single Dave Matthews Band concert live anywhere you are, on your phone, on your laptop, throw it up on your TV. But it enables us for free to be able to go to every show. And to so many of us, that means a huge deal. So if you've never heard about it, the only way you can access it is to be a member on Facebook, have an account, and then you're going to look for groups. It's called DMB Couch Tour, just like you're sitting on the couch, because that's kind of the idea, right? That we can be at home and still be at a Dave show. So you'll have to answer a few questions because they're going to make sure that you're truly a Dave fan. And then, boom, you're able to go to any of the shows. They do keep them up on the page, so you can even go back and watch other live performances from other shows that maybe you missed, or maybe you were there and you just want to listen to it again. So let's talk about New Hampshire. New Hampshire 2026, we got a great set. Like I said, the boys were there for 2 days, and just an amazing set list both days. But why am I talking about Couch Tour and New Hampshire? What do those two things have in common? Well, this year, we're going to talk about the people that record for Couch Tour. That is anyone that wants to use their arm to live stream it. You have to be a member of the Couch Tour, and then you just get on with your live Facebook stream and you stream it to everyone. So just about anyone can do it, unless for some reason they've broken the rules that we talked about earlier. And then you can get banned from being able to do so. But there are always 2 or 3 people that are doing it at every show. So again, we're just so thankful for the Couch Tour. But what happens when the Couch Tour goes wrong? That's what we're going to talk about today. DMB Couch Tour. And while they are such positive things, they can be scary things too. And I did not even realize that a couch tour could be scary. I don't know if anyone else has heard of a scary couch tour. But I have a guest with me today to talk about how he actually recorded the first scary DMB show. So I have on the show today a friend that, if you've listened to my podcasts, I have a guest on the show that's been on the show before, told his journey. And of course, today is just going to be a little bit different as we talk about when couch tours go wrong. So I have Randy Wesson with me all the way from Oklahoma. He was actually driving back home to Oklahoma through the northern states the northeast states that he went to see Dave in. And so he stopped in to say hello, like he always does, because he's a great friend of the family. And he said, I think this might be interesting to talk about. And I said, it will be great to talk about because there were like 550 people that were streaming his stream alone when things went wrong. So, Randy, welcome to the show again.
Thank you. I didn't expect it to be quite so soon.
Oh, I know. We did not have plans for this, but
And, I really don't consider it that it went wrong. It was scary.
It was scary.
And I didn't think too much, but when I went back and watched that 12 minutes of the encore, which I'd worked so hard to keep it all in one stream, and that was a pure accident that didn't happen, although probably circumstances led to it. But and I'm going, oh my goodness, it was not near that bad as it looked. And when I was reading the comments, I was so overwhelmed at the concern, but quite honestly, had I been on the other side, I would have reacted the same way. So first of all, I would like to give some thank yous before I describe the event, because that's really what this is about. And then I'll just clarify some things kind of based on what I see in comments. First of all, the person there who was with me, Michael, the bearded guy. Everybody knows Michael, or most people do. And a very unique set of circumstances led to Michael being there that night. And as someone who really doesn't believe so much in coincidences, I really I have dwelt on that thing alone a lot since that night. But Michael is a true responder. He didn't react or he didn't act, he responded. He has professional training in those type of fields, and he acted that way, would have acted that way with anyone. But to know that he was the person there who assisted me, I can't think of anyone better.
We love Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Check him out on all the socials because he's doing amazing things himself. He has a YouTube channel. And he speaks about one of my favorite subjects, which is what? The medicine of marijuana.
He's in Jersey. So
Yep.
They can up there in certain places. You can do it for whatever. So
I love talking with other people that really truly believe in the medicinal effects of marijuana. I mean, we are in 2026. There's been a lot of science done, and Michael's going to walk you through some of those things. So if you want to know more, I've put a link or I've put his name on the screen so you can look him up on socials. Let's get back to thank yous.
Yeah, and I want to hit some, and then these people will come up again in this story. Krista Brown and her sister, Katie Mendetta. We all have these people when we make these shows that we have these brief encounters with, and they're come and go. And sometimes those people stick with you, even though they can continue to be brief encounters. Yeah. And Krista is one of these people. I met her briefly last year at Bethel and Syracuse, and we did the swag swap thing. And we were at Bethel. We were in the Jimmy Thing area of it. And that's kind of where my hug therapy started, one of the early ones with Krista. And I popped there in those shows. She picked me out, and we ended up on the rail that night. And I'll leave the rest of that for as the story goes on. But God bless you, Krista. So I'm going to skip around a little bit, y'all. This one's a little funny. The photographer that was for the venue. There's for the venue page, there's some photography through there, and he was taking some pictures of the fans and the ladies and things like that. And in one picture he took, I photobombed him, and I got him pretty good, and he got me dead eyes looking at me, and he got me back pretty good on their deal. He got me taking a picture of another attractive young lady, and there I am in the background. And I look at it, I'm praying. Somebody said, you need to hydrate, Randy, which was very, very true. And I did notice I was pale in that picture. So, but anyhow, he did get me back pretty good, and I took that in good humor. So
yeah, so you have to look at the venue page and look at the photographer's work. Randy is in a picture, and he looks really sad. Yeah. But I think it's a little foreshadowing what is about to happen.
Yeah. Well, I still said, maybe something was on my mind. I was just praying about it. So anyhow, someone else, I've met this family recently. In fact, this weekend was the first time I got to meet the full family, and that is Kevin, Rachel, and Callahan Myers. Callahan, he's got the meanest fist bumps I've ever experienced. And Kevin and Rachel, they're wonderful people. I spent some time with them night one, and night two, before I got back to my cabin, my phone was blowing up with messages from them, as well as a lot of other people, mainly somebody.
Thank you for all.
Yes. So, uh,
and we'll see you in Denver.
absolutely. So the whole venue staff, the people that it was involved in the moment of my little blackout that I had, the staff, they were very cordial, professional, courteous. Before they even got me to the edge of the pit, I said, I'm awake. Y'all let me out of this thing and let me go. And they very politely just kept walking and walking and walking. And I did it again. They said, it's cool up here in this room. And I said, okay, I'll hang with you then. So anyhow, they were very grateful. One of the guys even kind of caught on to my sense of humor when I got up in there. So that was a great thing. But so I want to, this is kind of like a shine your light while you still got one. So I'm going about doing this stuff, guys. So I want to just back up a little bit, considering what I've seen in the two videos and comments that I said. I don't know if it really even matters to anybody, but the long video couch tour. Man, I found couch tour when I was fixing to start doing this, and there were certain people that were doing it then. They still do it. There's other people taking the lead now and doing it, and still, it's just a great community, and it is invaluable, considering what it costs to go see them.
Yeah.
And I take it seriously. Anything I do, I try to take it seriously. So I always had the goal. I hope one time I can repay by doing an entire show and stream it to somebody. Omaha, I first tried. I could never get in with the phone. Somebody's doing it. I give up and enjoy the show. I try. Sometimes there's not somebody, and I can't get on a network, which may also be why somebody else is not doing it.
Right.
But always try. And just for some reason, I checked there. Nobody was doing it when I started. And I thought, here we go. It's not really what I wanted to do, but it's what we do.
And we appreciate it because I watched your stream.
So the first night there were sound issues, me trying to learn it, things like that. And the consensus of the people at home was the sound, which I agreed with. I finally got that down. So night two, I thought, great. And night two, I was having little focus problems and stuff. But to go all the way through, hit the encore break, I thought, I'll just put the phone down and I'll bring it back up, like what I did now. And when I did, I touched it and turned it off, and that created some comments there. I did, honestly. I told Michael when we went to the break, I said, man, I'm glad I've been streaming, because if I wouldn't have been streaming trying to stay somewhat still, I would probably be on the ground right now.
Oh, no.
And little did I know that, well, I don't think I actually made it to the ground, thanks to Michael.
Did not make it.
So anyhow, we took the little break. I got back on and we started going, and Dave went through the solo and was leading in. And if you watch it, you'll see at a certain point, I thought, this is not good where I'm at right now, but I'm got this streaming going. It's one more song. You can do it. And there was a gentleman in front of me. I'm going to just call him Bucket Hat Guy, because he was there, and I mean, he wore it. It's cool. I worked around him all night. Fine. Yeah, it's, but I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, man, can I lean on that rail? And he looked at me first, and then I said, I'm getting a little heated here. And he stepped right out of the way. God bless him. And he tapped on his lady's shoulder and let her know it was okay. And I sat there for a minute. And I thought, I don't know if this is going to be good enough. And Michael had already noticed me. He already noticed that I was getting a little weak. I wasn't really overheated. I was severely dehydrated. That began actually before I just did not start the whole 2 day being hydrated like I should have. And I definitely did not dehydrate. I did not rehydrate between night one and night two. And I just paid the price, and that's all it was. as I've rewatched the video, I guess the full unconsciousness was very brief, because I kind of remember now coming to as they were lifting me over the rail, and I remember some things, but I do remember the whole thing. I was focused on keeping the stream going, and even when I went to the rail, I took the phone and I held it out there, and I thought, wow, that's a little better camera angle for them. And so then finally, you'll notice there at the end, I realized I needed both my arms on the rail, and I took the phone and cupped it in my other hand. And I thought, at least they'll still have the sounds.
He was still thinking about recording as he's going down.
And so at that time is kind of where I lost it. And then in watching that, that's where I dropped the phone, and they did this, that, and the other. And then fortunately, Michael found my phone and it was still streaming. And if you watch the video, you see there, and Michael made it on Couch Tour for about 20 seconds. And I think that's great. So anyhow, but it was great that he was there. And then that puts me in the little, it wasn't a tent. Guys, they've got a full room, air conditioned and everything there. So, I mean, that's your, you know.
So long story short, you just did not hydrate. And because you were it was a hot night, right?
Yes.
You were in the pit, you were wearing jeans.
Yes. Sure.
You just collapsed.
It was more like, it was like just giving it all. Or does anybody ever remember watching Seinfeld and the Kramer episode where he drove a used car, and they get out there and he's with the used car salesman, and they're out tooling around doing this, and they see that it's on empty. And the guy goes, Kramer says it's on empty. So anyhow, they go back and forth. Let's just see how far it'll go. See how far it'll go. And I guess that's what I was doing at the show the other night. I knew about half show. I started watching song counts and things like that. And I tried to get somebody. I was going to give them a $20 bill to bring me a can of water. I was not going to interrupt Michael's show. It was like the ice, and that was his birthday weekend. And for him to get that second night in the pit, 2 nights in the pit on your birthday, that's like having your cake and eating it too. And I was not going to bother him to ask him to go get me a can of water. But so it just didn't happen. And the last song was just about 3 or 4 minutes too long. But I need to talk about this. When I was in the little room being taken care of, and all, Krista come to the door, and she opened it. They were, they're watching people. Michael had already been there, and we talked things like that. I'd lost my glasses. They got them to me. I'd lost the phone. They got them to me. But Krista stuck her head in there, and like I said, we're basically strangers, other than Dave Matthews Band family, right, and swag swappers and hug therapy people. And they were not going to deny her getting in that building to see me. And that was,
she fought to get in, right?
She saw me, and I
not fought. She was really concerned.
Right.
And she had to see him, visually see him, that he was okay. And right. I would do the same thing.
Yeah. So she came over, and of course I got up to give her the hug. And
you stood up.
And I stood up, and I mean, I'm good. I'm ready to go. And I realized they're doing the observation thing, and we still hadn't done like whatever formalities they had. I hadn't even thought about those, but and I said, here, let me have another hug. She said, no, you sit down. And I said, I would really like it. She said, no, you sit down. And so I sit down. But that's not the first time that's happened to me. And actually, a few years ago at Stack, something very similar happened on the bus. And so I'm learning to try to listen to y'all a little easier.
Yes.
But I'm so grateful that in this community we have that it's never considered. And people it's not a react, it's not act, it's they respond when they need to respond in ways that they need to. And I'm so grateful for it, and so grateful to be a part of this community.
Yes. Well, I am so glad that was not a nightmare. I remember that night, Kevin, that we just spoke of, texted me, and someone else texted me. I think Kevin in Houston, who wasn't even at the show, but was in the stream and started seeing all the comments once you went down. the comments, you just have to go through and read. I know Randy has, but so find this 12-minute clip. You're going to have to scroll down to, where you get to those dates, but it's just a 12-minute live stream. And as you go through that 12 minutes, you can hear everything that happened, which is scary, but, through that, two people reached out to me and said, hey, we're not exactly for sure what happened to Randy, but something's wrong. And of course, I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? I don't know what to do. But they were letting me know, and people in the comments were so worried. Because again, his camera was still live streaming, but they could hear people saying, "Oh my gosh, he just fell over." Paramedics, paramedics. I mean, like you could hear all of the um just how crucially important it was for paramedics to get there and for there to be attention shown. And so, that just really watching that for 550 people or however many it was, which it really was around that many, um, just how scary, because that's not a normal couch tour thing. It's not. I don't know if you're the first, probably not, because
I
it
hope
just
not.
gets hot and
I
people
hope
do
not.
not hydrate. I Randy laughs at me because I sent him a text. Now, if you don't know much about me other than this podcast, I retired as a nurse. I worked as a nurse for 15 years. And so just because I don't work as a nurse doesn't mean I don't have all my information. And I treat people as if I'm still one, because that's why would I not, right? I know the problem. Let's do it. So I'm like texting him stuff, but like making sure he's okay. If he's driving out of the place, like where are you staying? What time are you leaving tomorrow? And we get to rest and relaxation, but also intake of fluids, right? And so I was like, well, I don't want to just tell him to drink water, because that can mean anything, right? A drink, a swallow, and you're done. Like, what does that mean? And so I'm going to use this as an educational piece for all of us, because it is still hot outside. It's hot outside today in Springdale. It's 96 degrees. And guys, I got out in it and just it's too much. The air is thick and your body cannot take that. Don't think you're a superhero when it comes to 100-degree temperatures, because you're not. Your body, no matter what size, requires a certain amount of water. And I can tell you really easily how all of you can make sure you get the minimal amount water needed for your brain, for your heart, for your whole body to stay going like it should. And that is take your weight, whatever your body weight is. I don't know, you're the only one that maybe know, but I'm going to say, let's do 300 pounds, just as a nice, easy, round thing. All you got to do is take that number, take half of it, so divided by 2. And what is that number? So if you're 300 pounds, that number is 150, right? Because that's half of 300. That is exactly how many ounces your body needs of water per day. So, of course, if you're smaller, that number decreases, but that is what you need. That is what everyone recommends as a minimum daily intake of water. And that's so crucial, so important. People don't understand why water is so important. It is so important for your brain. It's so important for your heart, your digestive system, your skin, everything. It's literally kind of like gasoline for a car, water for us. Of course, there's so many other things our body needs, but remember that as we are going to these concerts, and you need to do it before you get there. That's the important part. Don't wait until you get there and go, oh, I need to drink some water. It's hot outside. It's not really going to do much good for you. Now, I'm glad you're doing it, but you need to really start hydrating 2 days before an event like that, because you've got to get your body ready. And if it's not ready, things like this story can happen, and we don't want that. We want to take care of our community. And so I know a lot of people may not know how much water you should drink, but this is how much. And so, Randy, thank you so much for stopping by on your way home and sharing this, because, I know you had so many people that were really, really nervous on Facebook while watching that. And I know that you've reached out to a lot of people. A lot of people have reached out to you, just because that was nerve wracking for a lot of people. And of course, you've posted in the group after the fact and put, that you're fine. And since then you edited it and said, watch, I'm going to say it on the Space Between podcast.
It's been, there's something that, all these lyrics would hang to. And so I'm just going to use this one here. It says, trouble might come and go, but good times are gold. There's a lot of gold in this community.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's right. Yes.
Thank you, Renee.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And thank everyone for all the concerns. But it really was not here like what it appeared on the video is bad. So,
well, no passing out, no more. Okay, we're gonna hydrate. I gotta call you every day.
I got Denver pit and a Minnesota makeup. So yeah, there's gonna be more pit. I will be back in the pit.
That's my next show as well, Denver. It's a 2-night weekend there in the city, but also, if you're interested, Goose is at Red Rocks the Thursday before DMB. So a lot of DMB fans are flying in and going to Red Rocks to see Goose before we go see our favorite band, which is Dave Matthews Band. So I will see you guys in Denver. That's my next outing. And then I'm still curious and figuring it out and trying to plan out flights. And it's a whole thing going back to the Minnesota show, because I still have my pit ticket, but can I get there? Because think about it. Denver ends on Saturday. Everybody flies home on Sunday. The concert's on Monday. Yep. So I'm basically going to have to either change flights or come home and basically get on another plane and go. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that. I really don't. So look out for a pit ticket for sale. maybe, but my hopes are still there. And then Bourbon and Beyond. Randy's still thinking about Bourbon and Beyond. It's got a great lineup this year. Of course, Dave Matthews Band will be there, but so many other amazing artists that we just cannot miss. However, Bourbon and Beyond, it's all about the bourbon, right? We do all the bourbon, but guess what people forget? Water.
Yeah.
Water. You still got to have it, man. And yeah, people want to say there's water in bourbon, but it's not. Right. It don't work that way. It don't work that way. Well, Randy, thanks for coming back on the show.
Thank you so much.
I'm sad that you had to come on back again. Just because it took something bad to make it happen. Typically, my guests don't come on like back to back like this. Or it's been, I don't know, in the last couple months that you were on the show. So guys, stay tuned for everything that's coming up. Follow me on social media, of course, Facebook. You can follow me in 2 places. I have a public Facebook page, is simply under Renee Lipsmeyer, or you can follow the Facebook page that is called The Space Between Podcast. Instagram, it is The Space Between _POD. And on TikTok, it is The Space Between Podcast. So you can see more information, see who's next up on the podcast, and also if you're interested in coming on and sharing your journey.
Please do.
Please do. There's not a shortage of people that have reached out to me. And so I want to thank everyone first I can see that people understand what I'm doing now, which is documenting our story. It's not about me. It's not about Randy. It's about all of us collectively sharing our stories. So it's a great thing to do. It's a great souvenir to have to lock these memories away for 20 years when we can go back and listen to this and remember these days, because we probably don't have 20 more years of Dave Matthews Band. So record your story while you can, while the band is still hot. All you have to do is reach out to me. The email is in the show notes, whether you are watching this on YouTube or watching it on a podcast app. I do want to thank Randy, though, before we come. I know that you went to several shows and passed out all kinds of Space Between podcast stickers, and I appreciate you doing that.
Well, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, and I
believe in what you do.
Oh, well, thank you. I know he got some good responses, people that said they are aware of the show, which makes my heart so happy, just that you're aware of it. And people that were interested in being on the show and seeing the importance of this happening. Like I always say, the history of Dave Matthews Band it's recorded, it's being recorded, it will always be recorded. But is the history of the bands behind this band being recorded? It is right here on the Space Between. So make sure that your story is part of all of the stories here at the Space Between podcast. Guys, until the next time, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band. Yay, we did.